Andy Liu. All-Star break's almost over. The Warriors are almost back. The look on your face lets me know you're not happy about that.
2 more days.
Games, man.
24, 2 more days.
Almost there. We're recording this Tuesday night, and, had to bring a special guest to help us preview the second half here.
No, I'm happy.
And just kind of talk us out of our general misery and doomer mentality. Wos, what's up, my man?
I'm good, man. I'm happy to be back with you boys, man. It's always nice to come on. I feel like I'm talking. I always tell y'all the Mike and the Mad Dog of the Warriors, and so super dope to be talking to y'all as always.
All right, so let's start with a little housekeeping here. So we got to update. Warriors are in LA. They're in LA 3 days before they play the Lakers, so they're going to lose by 30. Clay's going to be just sweating out tequila in the third quarter. Draymond's going to be on the bench laughing. 87-54.
One second. When is this game?
Thursday.
It's Thursday, and from what you guys understand, they're already in LA right now.
Oh, they're 100%. They flew down there this morning. I mean, at this point, I wonder how many times you're going to see them between now and.
Here's the thing. They play Houston the day after on a back-to-back at home. And I'm worried about that game because I'm like,
has to be a W if you're thinking about playoff seedings.
Still be hungover. Look, these guys are 35, man. This shit gets worse and worse.
Oh wait, hold on a second. So they're playing the Lakers on Thursday.
Yeah,
and then when are they playing the Clippers?
They fly. They're not. They're flying back home for a week-long homestand. So it's like you get that Thursday night TNT game in LA. You know the deal.
Okay, guys. See, this is why you guys need me here.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, most teams when they come through, especially Eastern Conference teams, they'll play the Lakers and the Clippers back to back, right? So let's just say the first game will be on Wednesday. They will fly in the night before. So that means they'll have Tuesday night. The second game will be Friday. And unless the next game is directly after, they're going to stay that extra night. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to leave Friday night, even though they played Wednesday and Friday. They're going to leave Saturday morning to go to the next city. The Warriors are like, yo, we can't just have one night in LA and keep it pushing. We need our 3 nights like everybody else gets. And so that's why they're doing it. I understand why guys who play in the league.
Where's the Taco Tuesday spot? Where are they at tonight?
Tuesday. What's Tuesday? Tuesday, I think, is Poppy. Okay. Tuesday used to be Bootsy Bellows for like what NBA players would do. But I think Tuesday might be Poppy. There's actually a Taco Tuesday party out there in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
That's like it's karaoke. It's karaoke, Taco Tuesday, and bottle service. It's not my favorite thing to do. No, but that might be Monday.
You're not a karaoke guy? You're not a
No, I'm not. I don't mind karaoke, but it's a special occasion thing. If I'm visiting you guys in San Francisco and you're like, yo, let's go to karaoke. All right, cool. Let's do it. I'm not going to karaoke twice a month in the city that I live in. That's not a thing that I'm going to do. But either way, I forget that I've blanked on what are the proper nighttime spots to hit on Tuesdays out here. They'll be out somewhere doing something because that's what the players do whenever they're in LA.
Yeah. For sure. And the other update we got today that we got to hit on because it matters, Steph starting to do some non-contact work today. No updates. They're basically saying they're not going to give you an update till they're back in San Francisco, which will be Friday or Saturday. Looking like if he's starting on court, best case, maybe first week of March, which means he's probably going to miss at least the first 5 games. They got 24 left. So we're talking best case, he plays the final 18 or 19 games. Worst case, maybe he misses 7 or 8, but it sounds like we're getting the ramp up. I think that Pelicans game Friday, the 3rd of March, like decent chance it's that one. He's back. And so we got to go to this because right now Vegas has bet the Warriors down to 42.5 as their over under. They're 29-29 now. They're in the 9th seed right now. Now, we also know they're like 2 games back of the 6th seed. Steph's going to miss 5, 6, 7 games. Can they get out of the play-in? If you're looking at this, like, Woz, where are you at with this? Because that's my biggest concern. It's not that they can't beat anyone in the West. It's that, like, you just start running out of games. And if you're the 7-8 seed, it's tough.
I will always believe that, they can figure out a way to play better ball over much better ball over a 20-game stretch than the Mavericks and the Timberwolves. And even the Pelicans, I would say. But man, it's starting to get down to the nitty gritty, right? Like the Pelicans are really banged up in the sense that Zion isn't playing and he's by far their best player.
Yeah.
The Mavericks have a lot of sorting out to do. And, Kyrie Irving is not exactly an Iron Man. And so It's not as if they can count on him to play all of these games down the stretch. Timberwolves, again, what's so funny about the Timberwolves, which I know we're doing a Warriors thing, but nobody's been like, man, when the hell is Karl Towns coming back?
That's what I just said on the last show.
I mean, Andy and I are like, when's he coming back so we can ensure the Warriors are going to bounce past him?
And so the teams ahead of them and the teams directly behind them, like the Thunder, so long as they don't do any shenanigans with Shea, they're going to be pretty good. The Jazz are going down. Mm-hmm. Portland, I don't think is going to be playing way better than they are. And I think the Lakers would be better, but they the teams behind them aren't going to go on some incredible, streak behind them either. So I definitely think it's still possible that they can get out of the playing game, but Steph needs to come back ASAP, in order for that to happen.
It feels like the Clippers are just about there in the top 4, top 5. It feels like the Suns are just about there. They're going to get there. KD's coming. So I think the question marks, I'm with you. The Pelicans, the Mavs, and the
Pels are in the play-in, by the way. So
they are. Yeah. But, the Warriors kind of need to get out of the 9-10, right? So anyway, it's too early for that. But I think one sneaky team there's a lot of fans of this team that listen to us. The Kings are. I'm not saying they're fluky. I'm not saying they're fluky, but at some point,
they're a guy away. They're a guy going down away from a bad, losing streak. 100.
They haven't. We got the standings in front of us. They don't have the buffer to have like a
like Memphis
5-game.
The Memphis situation. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're a 5-game or losing 4 out of 5 away from being in the play-in, basically.
Yeah. And that's what's so crazy and fascinating about the season. I don't know. Some people would say this is general like a malaise. I actually think it is an indication that these teams are really close in level of play. Or at least the level that they're willing to get to in the regular season on a consistent basis. But yeah, I wouldn't bet against the Warriors getting up to that 6 seed. Just just to reiterate, I don't think the Wolves are gonna blow by them. I don't think the Pelicans are gonna play way better than 500 ball going forward. And
do you think we see Zion the rest of the season? Because if we do,
that would be stupid if we didn't. That just doesn't, like, all of this stuff that you do, making these trades, bringing CJ McCollum in, and doing this whole win now, all of this stuff. Why do you do it if you're just gonna play it completely and utterly safe, as if Zion is some delicate flower, and be like, yo, we're just gonna play it completely safe, kick the can the next season? What are we doing here?
He might be a flower. He might be a delicate. I mean, he's going to be reevaluated in a month, which probably means mid-March. Season's over in April 9th, which is less than a month after that. He's not coming back right after a month, so you would think maybe he comes back with a week or two left. And
now, I mean, they're probably looking. I mean, it feels like the Warriors, where it's just like, look, man, let's just get him healthy, and we think we can compete with anyone. Like, now they haven't built the equity to pull that off.
Well, they have years, but not this season.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, if they get matched up against Memphis. And they get Zion back, like it's kind of scary for Memphis, for
Oh, you're saying New Orleans? Oh, got it. Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, back to the Warriors here. I just feel like my number for them is 45 wins. I think that's what it's going to take to be a top 6 seed this year, which is not a lot most years, but everyone's basically like a 42-win team this year for whatever reason.
So that's that's like 16 and 8.
Yeah.
Not impossible. and why are you making that face?
Didn't we watch like 8 in a row when Steph comes back?
No, when Steph is not playing, it's so just like woof. The limitations of the defense at times, it like really surprises me sometimes. Where I'm just like, I watched this team shut Boston all the way down last year. In key moments with most of these dudes on the most of these dudes. That's why they got
GP2 back.
Yeah, I mean, hey man, they trying to bring back that love and feeling. I understand that, and I want to talk to you guys about the GP2 thing because I thought that whole little game they played in the media.
What game?
Oh, we're so pissed about his medical, blah blah blah, an injury that he had while he was on your team last year. Insanity. Anyway, I want to talk about that with y'all.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
So, I was confused by this story because I was like, wait, are the Warriors trying to say that they're canceling the trade? Like this is a serious accusation. Like they're accusing Portland of selling them a lemon, and then you talk to a couple of people, and it's like, well, here's the thing. He's had about 4 or 5 operations on this same thing, so there's a lot of scar tissue.
That's a lot of poor surgery, by the way.
Yeah, 100%. A lot of it is. The Warriors team doctor is a guy that errs on the more conservative side when doing these physical evaluations, and so he rendered his conservative judgment to the owner. Which normally would be like, man, this is kind of whack, but like, okay, whatever. However, the owner, Joe Lacob, he is the architect of this 2 tracks mindset as far as building the team. And he's been crying about letting go of his precious James Wiseman because unlike all of the other rational actors within the organization, his sort of self-esteem and sort of concept of what he brings to the table is this vision for having it both ways, right? And Wiseman is so tied into that vision. And the fact that he had to let Wiseman go was just grinding his gears. So he had to listen to people who know what the hell they're talking about and who care about wanting the team to be better in the now. And being like, yo, we need to bring in guys that are going to help us win today. Wiseman doesn't not do that today.
By the way,
in fact, he doesn't even come close.
By the way, nothing is a bigger shot to the ego than trading for a guy you had last year. And you like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but like you found him on the street. Like he was a guy like bouncing around the G League. You have to throw that away. I don't know.
They cut him. They cut him and brought him back.
Guys, guys, we understand the financial implications and not paying him and all of that stuff. However, they could have got rid of Wiseman for way more value in the summer. And and I get it. We had to see what we had and all of that.
That's my favorite. We had to see what we had. It's like, I saw what you had. You were terrible with him, and then you won a title without him, bro. Like, it's not that complicated.
So the GP2 thing is hilarious because again, this is an injury he's gotten operated on 4 or 5 times. He was in the building last year. They know about this injury. They know about the operations. So this whole crying temper tantrum in the media is just a guy who's mad that he had to give up Wiseman. That's it.
That's so funny. I mean, that's
That's
fucking funny.
I think it's a
It's
good
just like,
story.
I had
it's a
to-
good story, but I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
You're not buying Joe's story. You're saying you're not buying the media bitching.
I think Waz is selling an amazing story, and I want to buy it. But I think once they made the trade, there's no going back.
No.
Like, what is that? What is the alternate version?
Wait,
where it's
so
like,
so do you
trades
think
off?
he's hold on? You think he's legitimately more hurt or something shady happened in this deal?
I think.
What is your version of it, Andy?
No, Sam.
Excuse me, Sam. Sorry.
All right, I'll go first. So I don't hear Andy's. I legitimately am buying that their doctors just have a different impression of how bad the injury is, and then they're just trying to see if they can get picks back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they've given up on Wiseman. Once you made that deal, it's like there's no coming.
Yeah.
There's no like he comes back to the team and all of a sudden he refines his like inner chi and becomes a superstar. You know, like that's not happening. I think once you trade him, it's over. I think they just thought they had an ability to like renegotiate and get a better deal.
Hold on. So just a question though. Since he left Golden State, he's barely done anything. So what is the concept that something crazy or untoward has happened to his body since he was
he played the night before the trade. That's the thing. He played for Portland.
Oh, so that
against
one
the-
game made his body materially worse than the freaking finals in June?
Well,
No, I think
No, I think the point is that they believe that he shouldn't have been playing, right? Like he had core surgery. In
Oh,
the
he got
offseason.
rushed back? They're saying he got rushed back? Is that
I mean, that's their claim.
That's how they're trying to frame it. They're like, we wouldn't have cleared him to play. What is Portland doing? And like, look, man,
you believe that, Sam? Sam, you really believe that?
I think the truth's somewhere in the middle.
Mm.
Honestly, I don't think I just they traded Wiseman already. Like, there's no coming back from that one. I just think they thought they could potentially, they gave up some second round picks. Let's see if we can get a few of those back. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm thinking. I think it's just one of those.
But this is a nasty way to do it, though, is it not?
I'm not saying it isn't, but I don't think
they're accusing Portland of being unethical, unprofessional, incompetent. That's crazy.
Well, I think that I do think that they thought he'd be able to play right now, and he's going to be out for a month at least. And I do think that cost them. Him not playing for the next month is going to cost them games. They need him. Like they need him badly.
Like I could paint a very clear situation, in my mind where it's like you get GP2 back, he knows how to play. That's another good.
You need
player.
him next to Poole.
Then you get Steph in there, and it's like, all right, they're gonna end up the 5 seed. They'll be fine. We'll play playoff. Now it's like, all right, he's gonna miss most of the regular season, and Steph's missing time, and it's just like probably gonna be a reason they're a playing team.
I think their anger too was also. I mean, I think the funny part for me is like, why are you making like the big stink that they made about it? Like they leaked it 3 days, then every single day they kept leaking reports.
They also said
they
said the Larry Nance thing. They're basically claiming Portland misrepresents their players' injuries.
At the same time, if I'm Portland in that negotiation / deal, I'd say go ahead, cancel the trade. You're not gonna do it.
That's a part of it. Everyone called their bluff on it, and they're like, all right, well, we really don't want to walk this one back.
You're not really doing it. You go ahead. Like, don't lie to me. You're not doing it. Now. They could still get picks, right? Like that's part of it. Whatever. The most important part is
with the medical, with an injury that he had on Golden State, to me, they have no leg to stand on. He was in your building last year with this injury. You know who this guy is.
I don't know if they make that trade if they knew he'd be out for most of the regular season. I don't know if they make trade.
I don't know if they want him to get that surgery to begin with. Like, but he did. Like, there's no pretending we didn't know you got that procedure.
Yeah, right.
Like that sort of thing. So I kind of think it's one of those. Yeah, it's like let's see if we can leverage this into getting a better deal after the fact. But Anyway, enough of that. Well, let's move this forward, Waz.
It's a cute, nerdy NBA story. It is. It made me laugh watching it from afar.
Well, they made us sweat it out the whole time. I was at a wedding.
Did you think
weekend?
there was a possibility that Wiseman was coming back?
Look, man, I'm not. It might have been good for our downloads, though. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. It might have been good.
Wow.
I think the more interesting thing in the West right now is, okay, so Denver's running away with it. And we could talk about them later. And Memphis will be the 2 seed. Everyone else reshaped their roster in like a way that, like, I was thinking about this. Tell me a team who's brought in a player who's going to be a first or second option who's won a title. Like, you bring him at the trade deadline. Like, you bring in Kyrie or KD, you're fundamentally changing your entitled team. The only teams I can think of that have done it, and I'm just going to run through it, it's like the Lakers brought in Powell. They didn't win the title, but they got to the finals and lost to Boston that year. Clyde Drexler with obviously the famous Clutch City 96 Rockets. And then a couple people brought up the Pistons gang,
Rasheed Wallace, yeah.
But he was a third option. But he
wasn't a number one and number two
He might have
option.
been the second best player on the team. But like,
yeah, exactly.
You get what I'm saying? Like, typically when you acquire a player that good, you've reshaped everything in a way that makes it unrealistic for you to pull it all together going forward.
I mean, I have plenty of skepticisms around what the Suns did. I think it's a smart move. Don't get me wrong. I don't think they were winning a championship with the core that they possessed. I just don't believe that. I don't think Chris Paul, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, DeAndre Ayton, and Devin Booker.
They hate Ayton. Like,
well, we know that. We know that. But I don't think that core was going to win a championship. And so they raised the chances, the likelihood that they could win a championship, and they've done it for probably, 2 more seasons, this season and next. They've by a lot, and I truly believe that. However, to speak to what you just said, Sam, there's something to continuity. There's something to the type of offense that they were running as soon as Chris Paul got there. This sort of, ball movement, but there's ball movement. There's different guys touching the ball. It's more egalitarian than, say, what Brooklyn was doing. I don't know that they're going to be able to run that in the exact same way and then incorporate what KD does in the way that, quite frankly, Golden State did. Golden State had 2 offenses. They had the beautiful game offense, the Steve Kerr offense that Andy hates so much, and they had the conventional NBA, spread, pick and roll, isolate for KD, conventional NBA, especially in the playoff offenses, right? I think of another team that had 2 offenses, and that's the 2019 Toronto Raptors. They had their sort of spread continuity-based offense, and then that Kyle out, and then Kawhi kill people offense, right? I wonder if Phoenix is going to have the ability to run their beautiful stuff now without Cam Johnson, without Mikal Bridges, without some of these other wings in the fold, and it's just Chris Paul and Devin Booker. It's not that you can't slot KD into that offense and make it way better. It's that, does KD want to be that kind of player? He seems to want to be that guy. He
did for 1 season with the Warriors, and they were the best team I've ever seen with my own eyes. So that worked out. But right after that, he said, "You know what? I'm good."
And my whole thing is, it's not that they can't make it work. It's that they got 6 weeks till playoffs start. And
he's not
like,
back.
Who's their? Yeah, KD's apparently back Friday, but let's assume that's true. That's still 20-ish games. And then like depth, what do they have? Like Damian Lee is their best role player. It's like one of those things where you're just like, I love the idea of KD and Booker and what they got, but like they need like a full off season to figure out the pieces around it.
That's what it is.
Otherwise, they feel really susceptible to a team like the Warriors, if the Warriors are healthy and lock in, to like exploit the fact that like the fourth and fifth guy on the floor are guys who should not be playing in the playoffs half the time.
So I'll say this. I think a Warriors-Suns series is the single NBA Finals series I need to see. I don't know since when. I can't even remember the last time I needed to see an NBA playoff matchup. Excuse me. As much as I absolutely need this to happen.
2016 Cavs Warriors is like that.
You know what's so funny, Andy? Going into it, I didn't feel that way because I thought the Warriors were going to wipe the floor with them.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't look at it as like this compelling thing. I was like, they're going to get smoked by the best team
that's fair.
that the NBA's ever seen, right? And so going into it, now it turned into, basketball fucking nirvana. I mean, obviously it sucks for Golden State fans to watch your team lose that way, but I understand that. However, I don't know how you guys would feel about that series. If the Warriors are reasonably healthy, I have no doubt that they will beat the Suns.
Ow.
Just on a continuity.
What if the Warriors end up like, let's say Steph's thing is more like 8-9 games, and GP2 doesn't come back until the end of the regular season, and they are a quote unquote, they're a playing team. Let's call it straight. Like they're they get the tougher road. Does that kind of, because like that's the thing that I feel like Andy and I haven't. I personally am not sure where I land on it.
It doesn't. If the guys can play a reasonable amount of what we should be able to expect from fully healthy versions of themselves, I think they beat the Suns. And it's because even GP2 at this point, he's gone through the fires against real teams, tough series. That Boston team was more talented than them last year. More talent on that team, well coached. They beat them on toughness, moxie, know-how, grit. And I know this stuff is like platitudes and that kind of thing, but to me, those things happen throughout the course of experiencing adverse situations together as a collective. I think that is what pushes them over the top of, can we just talk about KD's lack of success?
There you go.
Man, whenever Andy or I talk about it, people say we're biased.
It's not a bias.
The facts aren't real,
It's not a bias. We can talk about the series that KD blew against the Warriors, right? Like, by the way, a series that would be talked about more if what happened in the round right after with Cleveland didn't. But like, they were blowing the doors off of the Warriors for 4 games.
They were a better team.
They were like, I had never seen anybody just out athleticism, physical. They were just.
It made me more uncomfortable than Cleveland. To this day, I'll always feel like Cleveland was like a series of like bullshit happenings. Whereas like OKC, I was watching, by the way, Andy, our guy Jacob Greenberg, I was watching with him. I've never been like, it's fucking over. They're going to get their ass kicked. Like that game 4, I've never been like, is. To your point,
it was a domination. I just remember, like there would be like 4 or 5 possessions in a row where they just beat Golden State down the floor. Like they were just faster than them to the cup. I'm like, yo, they're just bigger, faster, stronger, better than you, right? End up losing that series, and you guys can go back and dig into the numbers, how KD performed the final 3 games of that series. Now, listen, Russell Westbrook, I contend, his career as a relevant NBA player ended in that series. Not relevant, but like somebody who people was like, oh, this guy's one of the 2 best players on the team. You can win a championship. To me, the concept of Russell Westbrook as that type of guy ceased to exist in 2016, for me anyway. The Warriors pantsed him.
Took everyone else 3 years.
Yeah, it did.
6.
It took everyone else 6. Well, apparently Paul George still not over it. But KD wasn't amazing. He just wasn't. He just wasn't. He was good. He was, he was good to between good and great.
I mean,
right? He's better than just good, but he wasn't great.
Even last year, like, come on, man.
Talk about it.
You saw him against Boston. You saw him against Boston, and he was frustrated. He turned into a volume shooter.
Yep.
And then you saw Steph against Boston. There's layers to his game. He can find different ways to attack you if his pet move isn't there. It's like, oh, I can't cook you at the elbow. Well, this is unfair. Must be everyone else's fault for not spacing well enough, Like
Also, what people got to understand too that gets underrated about KD's game, because it's one of his strengths. It's like at a certain point, you don't need to take that many mid-range contested long twos, my boy. I understand you're one of the best ever at doing it, but go look at the percentage of KD shots against Boston that were contested long twos in 2022. Okay? Like, or was it? Yeah, it was 2022. We just turned this year. I was like, am I saying it right here?
Yeah.
And so KD's style of play needs to improve in the playoffs. And that means somebody needs to convince him that his instincts are not optimal, right? Who's going to tell him that in Phoenix? Who's going to coach that into him?
Oh, who's going to tell him that, and you know exactly how he's going to react to it.
Right. It's going to be Chris Paul. And that's the thing about Chris Paul. You guys have
right message, wrong messenger.
It's not even wrong messenger. It's being right isn't enough, right? Like if you have a woman, a significant other, whatever, like sometimes you're right. And you're right, but like it doesn't matter. Sometimes I think Chris Paul needs to learn that. Like we get it, Chris. Like basketball, and you might be saying the right basketball thing, but like not being an actual dick about it matters, and that's how you got to treat that. And so yeah, I think they're going to be a very ISO-driven team in the postseason, and I think defensively, they're going to come into some issues. I'm skeptical of what they're doing. I was skeptical of Brooklyn when it happened.
Yeah, you won that one. Yeah, I was. History has proven you correct.
I'm just like, listen, KD, he's a great player. I'm not saying that, but like he.
Can I ask you a question?
He's not Steph. He's not LeBron, man. He's not that type of postseason player. He's not a lift all boats type of dude the way peak LeBron and peak Steph is. Like these guys elevate what's around them to they transform people's games. Like allowing Wiggins to could you imagine Wiggins producing in the way that he did under any other context?
No, I mean, you and I both know if Wiggins played next to KD, he'd be the whipping boy because he couldn't do it one-on-one like him and Kyrie.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if he could play next to LeBron either, because I don't think Wiggins is the type of guy who can thrive if he's not touching the ball on a consistent basis. So yeah, I mean, it's like Steph's significantly rehabbed his career, basically.
I just think KD, as great as he is, he's just never shown himself to be lift everything superstar type of thing. Just look at what Jokic did against y'all last year in the playoffs. That team was garbage. Monty Morris, Campazzo, the Pizziolo was getting major tick in that series, bro. And I know for a fact y'all was watching some of those games like, what the fuck? Why are these guys still in this?
Oh, he's the best player there. He's the best player that won against.
So here's Denver's underrated right now. Underrated. I think they would beat Phoenix in a series. You're talking about the Warriors being Denver wins in a series. The thing about KD is the theoretical about KD is always better than the real about KD, and that's not to say that he's not good real life, right? He is, and I think the problem has always been Steph 6'2", man. It's KD 7'1", and people just can't. It's like a girl on Hinge, you know what I'm saying? Like you're talking to a dude that's 5'9" or a dude that's 6'3", you just can't. You can't get over it, no matter how funny he is. You just can't get over it. You know what I'm saying? And the 5'9" guy is always
no matter how cute his dog is, like he just will not get over it.
Bro, you just turned Steph into the 5'6" guy who wrote 5'9" in his profile. It's so bad.
Shouts to all my short kings, man. We here for you. We see you. But no, I really do. And again, I always had an immense respect for, Steph and what he does. It's the intangible stuff off the court, just like the kind of guy that he is as a leader. Just blown me away and all of that stuff. But last year, that postseason where there were moments when Steph, when he had to do the put the team on my back, isolation, you want to switch everything, you want to force us out of our beautiful game continuity. Grant Williams, you're a very good defender. You're a very good switch defender. You're going to switch onto me. I'm going to kick your fucking ass right now. Jason Tatum, you are an excellent defender. You're going to switch out on me. I'm going to kick your ass. Jaylen Brown, he did that in moments. And then when they were forced to change their defenses up, he beat that too. He would get off the ball when he had to. I'm just like, this guy is doing every single, like you said, Andy, the layers that it takes to win. That's why I know what these guys have inside of them. And so Phoenix, who ain't never been through shit together, damn near 4 or 5 guys from the rotation of last year's playoff team are gone.
Hey, they got world champion Damian Lee, though.
And that's a playoff rotation, which is even a shorter rotation, right? So 4 guys are gone from that, and they're just gonna make this work. And then again, you made and I know I'm rambling. Sorry, Andy's shit is fucked up, so I'm just going off.
Good. Nice, good.
But you just slightly touched on it, Sam. The personalities involved.
Yeah.
We underestimated I didn't, but we underestimated collectively personality in Brooklyn, where it's just like, man, y'all think y'all gonna be able to make both of these cats happy?
So I take it you're out on Dallas too, because I want to run through the other teams in the West, because we can get all paranoid about the Warriors' injury situations and the fact they might be the 8th seed and all that sort of stuff, but let's run through the other teams in the West here. So you're not buying Dallas either.
Not as a championship threat. I think they've made them put themselves in a position where they have a chance now to be way better than they otherwise would have been on the Luka and the Pips track that they were on. I don't believe that's a winning formula, Luka and the Pips, because, dorks will be like, well, analytically, Luka Doncic, even without Kyrie, was engineering one of the best offenses in the league. And I'm like, that's the regular season. You can't ask him to coordinate and shoulder the burden of that kind of offensive burden where you are running every single pick and roll, and when you're not, you're isolating and taking dudes off the dribble.
Right.
Man, do people not? And then guess what? The only reason that they beat Phoenix is because he got embarrassed and Chris Paul and Devin Booker laughed at him at the end of that game for what he was doing on defense, and he stepped his defense up. Yep. So now I'm initiating every single pick and roll, and when I'm not doing that, I'm trying to beat the best defenders in the world one-on-one. And then I'm guarding.
Luka has my respect for that, just because it's a bad look for Phoenix. I'll give him that.
So I think Kyrie taking the burden off of him offensively, that allows him to be more fresh throughout the course of a game where he doesn't have to do every single thing. Having Kyrie, theoretically, if he's there for the next 3 years, makes them better than a bunch of Dorian Finney-Smiths around Luka in the playoffs. I just don't think you can win a championship that
Plus
way.
2.5 RPM. That's my guy.
I love DFS. He's but by the way, the thing about Dallas was funny too. We were just talking about it. A lot of people picked Dallas to beat the Warriors in West Finals. Like, it wasn't. By the time it ended, it was obvious that the Warriors were better.
My apologies. I was one of those people. I literally because
from the record.
Yeah,
I was one of those people because they guarded the shit out of Phoenix. I was like, shit, they could guard. They're guarding apparently. They guard, and Phoenix's offense. Everybody had respect for their offense. I was like, oh shit, these guys could guard. And then, Golden State did not look amazing against Memphis. They didn't look amazing against Denver either. They looked amazing against the Dallas Mavericks. I'll tell you that much.
It was a matchup they know. It was, you know why? Because that's a matchup they know. You're going to play LeBron basketball. Go ahead. You're not LeBron.
Oh, James Harden, dude.
yeah. James Harden basketball. You're going to play James Harden. He is better than Harden, though. Like, he could be better.
He's better than Harden. He makes quicker decisions.
Right.
He has a post game. Like,
you're not beating them playing Bron ball. You're not LeBron. And Jalen Brunson, you're not Kyrie. So you guys aren't beating us. So the Steve Kerr came in with the exact same game plan. They just rinsed and repeated from 2015, 16, 17, 18. It wasn't hard. I could have given you the game plan before the series started. Like, it wasn't, I don't know. I think Luka's overrated. I think the slurp fest has it's got to stop. The Jokic stuff I think is unfair.
I don't know if he's overrated.
What do you think is overrated about him, Andy? What do people give him credit for being?
If I have to fucking hear that he is the LeBron of the Western Conference,
okay,
and he's gonna shut the fuck up, stop. And I don't care for LeBron, but you are disrespecting
He's not the LeBron of the. He's not the LeBron. He's not the LeBron of the Western Conference.
And he's officially an old man. He's just like
he's not. Although I will say this,
he's not as good as the player of my youth.
I will say this, man. We never got to watch a 24-year-old LeBron, 23-year-old LeBron play with spacing of any kind. Like he was playing with front courts of Andy Varejao and Ben Wallace and Shaq.
Big Z.
Yeah. Big Z spaced to 17 feet, right?
The elbow, yeah.
Like just try to imagine a 23-year-old LeBron where you had to guard all 5 of the shooters, and he's doing high pick and like that. Would just be.
And
on some level, I think it probably did him a favor because, like, I could see a world in which he gets that, and like he doesn't develop out the rest of his game as quickly as he does. But the point stands. It's like, put 23-year-old LeBron in like the James Harden setup, and it's like 48-8 or something.
It's insane.
And LeBron is an elite defender. He is an all-time defender. Luka is a joke. The Warriors picked on him. Same with Harden. The Warriors picked on him. So that's the thing about LeBron and the Why am I slurping LeBron, man?
But this is the thing, though. I think you're making a good point in the sense that like LeBron, his annoying, not bad for a guy that's not a scorer. It's like, okay. People aren't calling you a scorer, but like nobody with any sense would say that you aren't one of the 3-4 best offensive players, period. Like what you deliver for NBA offenses, even if it's not cute fadeaways like Kobe, like nobody can fuck with you. So like as great as Luka has been as an offensive player, LeBron was that, and like Andy said, an all-time defender. Like you can't. This is silly.
Small ball 5 in Miami. All right, can I do one more thing on KD's last thing? If LeBron is top 2 and Kevin Durant is top 12, like everyone says, then Steph Curry's top 5. Just like, what do we do? Like, come on, man. If
you think Steph is in the top 5 in the history of the game?
If KD is 12. If he's
in
the
top 12.
Who
puts KD at 12? Who's putting him? 12 sounds crazy.
What list is this?
This is my list that I'm fighting. I am making up a list so I can argue. No, but like Zach Lowe has said it. Like people on national TV have said it.
Like there was a point where I used to toy with the idea that KD was better than Kobe, in the sense that like all the shit that people like gave Kobe credit for being as a player, especially on offense, KD is that, but way more efficient. Like literally. The mid-range, the isolation.
You went through the pandemic. You're like, I came out a harder man. I can't.
Yeah, I just can't do it. I can't do it. I can't. I was like, I used to want to drop he's better than Kobe. Yeah, I can't do it.
We've been all the
Kobe. What do you think Kobe would have done to Kyrie?
What
do you think he would have done to Kyrie? What do you think he would have done?
Oh yeah, he would have slit his throat. Yeah, he would have killed that dude. Yeah, that like literally they're fighting. Oh no,
He would either got him,
but
he
at
would
the
either
same
got him in
time,
line
though,
or ended that 3 years.
but at the
early.
same time,
Kinda
though,
wasted your
Kyrie
time.
would have listened to Kobe.
Yeah, great point.
He would have listened to him. Like, nigga, nobody want to listen to KD. But
Here's
yeah,
my
no,
argument.
the Dallas Mavericks are not just to tie that up. They're not a championship team. I think they're set up to be that, but it's like by a thread, right? Like Kyrie has to commit to being an NBA hooper for the next 3 years or so. And if that happens, I think they could build a team that could beat people if they do it smartly. And right, exactly.
I'll make the case for Steph top 5 real quick, and then I got one other team to talk to you about. Okay. I have a hard time putting any big man in NBA history above Steph Curry. My single biggest case for this is if you're building a team, are you building it around Kareem or Steph Curry? Because we know when you build it around Steph, it literally makes big men less valuable.
Okay.
The argument is, what about the rules of the past? I don't give a fuck about the rules of the past.
Are you talking about the top 5 peaks? Like,
I'm talking all time, man. I'm talking
like talking about career.
Yes.
I don't know, man.
How many players have had, forget Kareem because he's in the top 5. How many players have had a better career than Steph Curry? It's literally like Jordan, LeBron James,
Michael, Magic,
maybe Kareem.
I
have a hard
Russell.
I have a hard time with Kareem and Magic because
you feel like their accomplishments cancel each other out.
To a degree, yeah. So
Steph and KD.
No, they don't because Steph won before and after.
Steph won before and after.
I know. I'm just on bait.
KD's done absolute dick without Steph Curry. So
my whole argument is if this guy literally, we know if you build a team around him, it is better than if you build a team around a big man. It's better. It's like the Warriors' peaks are better than any of Tim Duncan's peaks, any of Kareem's peaks, any of those guys' peaks. So
that's where I'm going with this. Yeah. You might be right in the sense that the four most dominant players,
George Mikan.
The four most dominant players I've seen is Mike, Bron, Shaq, and Steph.
Correct.
In my opinion. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess Steph is probably in the top 5. Like realistically, like he's definitely a more dominant player than Magic.
Yeah.
But this Kareem, man, I just don't know. Like like doing that shit for 20 years, and even in the later stages of his career when Magic took over as the best guy, he was still so central to what they did.
Sure.
He was a pretty good defender. Not great, but he was pretty good at defense.
All-time player. No disrespect, but like I hate this idea that like
only big man that really is on Steph's level is Shaq. And that's another thing.
We're the same age, so like we all watch like for like about 5 years there. It's just like, bro, this isn't fun. Go away.
Just literally nothing. You double teams, triple team. Like you just couldn't stop him, right? Like he had to get fat because he was taking such a pounding. By the way, that's why he gained all that weight. If you look at Shaq in 1994, bruh, come on. Like if he would have just been like, you know what, this is the body that I gotta maintain in a league that is stretchier, in a league where I have to do more perimeter, defensive sort of stuff, bruh. There's no one-on-one. Literally, there was no one-on-one capable of doing.
I hated
anything
watching the Lakers because I hate watching.
It was just like this is not gonna end well for anybody. So. Yeah, man, you guys have convinced me. Steph is in the 4 best, best dominant, most dominant.
And the thing is, I just facetiously said top 5 because people talk about KD. Like all I know is this: if KD never went to Golden State, is he just a glorified Carmelo Anthony, Tracy McGrady? Hey, maybe too far. We're 50 minutes. Maybe
I'll
too far.
This. I'm just saying, man. I wonder, right? I wonder because I think Sam Presti, as much as y'all know my bias. Like if white NBA media has built a consensus around somebody, I'm going to be highly skeptical of it and be suspicious of it, and at times, unjustifiably be resentful of it. Sam Presti falls underneath that category, but I think he's legitimately one of the best people at his job, top 5, if you will, at his job, especially when you consider the constraints. But I think unlike Carmelo, he would have been with Sam Presti, and Sam Presti would have continued to make that roster viable and elite. But I wonder if they would have spent, right? I wonder if those cheap ass people in Oklahoma would have spent. I don't know. That's a great counterfactual. I don't know.
But, the Warriors don't have 4 if it wasn't for him, so I don't like that hypothetical either. Right? You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't like that hypothetical.
He's a good player. He's a good player. He's fine. Doesn't answer my DMs anymore, but he's a good
player. Let's talk. I got one last thing before we get out of here. We didn't hit on the Clippers. I don't know what to make of them. I mean this earnestly. They've looked like the best team in the NBA the last month. And during this whole Kawhi era, it does feel like at least once every year you're like, they're figuring it out. And then they go and add Eric Gordon, Mason Plumlee, and Russell Westbrook for no reason.
Bones Highland.
Bones, I forget our guy
terrible.
Bones.
He's terrible.
I kind of like him, but
I like Bones.
That's a different story. But my point is, it's just I think it speaks to maybe the Warriors' best advantage. It's not making moves for the fucking sake of it. It's I thought the Clippers were actually onto something. I'm like, oh shit, this might be the year. And that now it's what we got to do? We got to integrate 5 pieces right now for no reason.
To a team that's never been integrated.
Yes.
Right? They're not adding a piece, 2 pieces to a core that's been around. This is not Milwaukee. This is not Boston, right? Look at what Boston did in the offseason. They brought some guys that have become integral to what they do. Malcolm Brogdon comes in there. Or even Derek White last year. They just come in there, and guess what? They fit around the core of what the team was already doing. Milwaukee has a core. Jay Crowder is going to fit seamlessly into what they're doing. The Clippers don't have a core identity. They don't have a core concept. They don't have any of that stuff. It's
a lot of just throw it against the wall.
And it's just let's completely rebuild this thing on the fly, because it's been on the fly since 2019 summer.
The Clippers are to the point where if the Suns get further than them, or if the Suns beat them, you got to look at yourself and go, you went all in and have nothing to show for it. I don't mind the Plumlee and Bones and Gordon move, but you just made the one move. You made the one move that could tank your season. You made the one move.
Who's the move do you think is tanking this season, guys?
Russell Westbrook. You made the one.
I'm just watching it Kawhi's open on the wing, but Russ is open too. It's time.
This is why you never let players GM. Half the time, GMs shouldn't even GM. It's not like they're geniuses.
I think Russ,
Paul George being I want Russ back here. I'm like, what's wrong with you, man?
I will damn Russ with the faintest praise, in the sense that I think he's still a legitimate NBA player.
Of course,
it's not as if he can't play NBA. He's an NBA caliber player. It's the things that you guys just mentioned where it's just is he really going to take a pull-up 3 for no reason? Is he going to, drive recklessly into 3 guys and take it into the charge?
Is he going to change the way he plays within a month when you get into those high leverage situations where it's every possession has to matter now?
He'll do it now. He's done it for 15 years, but he'll do it now.
I'm just a non-believer in Kawhi Leonard's ability to put together 4 rounds of great basketball.
That's true.
Look, man, in 2019, he was moving weird. By the time that thing ended, he willed himself to the end of that.
Do you think he gets the same kind of kid glove treatment that KD gets, where you're not allowed to critique him because he's a champion and he's shown up in these moments, but honestly, Toronto was a very well-built team without him, and don't get into San Antonio. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And outside of that, when he's been the alpha, it's not gone as well as one would think. I think it's very similar. He just doesn't do the self-inflicted
woe is me.
I think people feel like a lot of his shortcomings can be attributed to injuries.
True.
You know, and I think that's legitimate, right? I think physically his body has kind of failed him in a lot of key moments, and I can understand. Yeah, it's easier to justify. The KD thing it's just the funniest thing because he's the most sensitive guy, and he has gotten the like least resistance. Like people were, and we can say this now, justifiably upset about him going to Golden State because they did make basketball less fun for everybody who wasn't Golden State fans. Like this is a legitimate truth. Like people were mad
we're done. No.
And here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing about KD's life and his career, because it's so like LeBron. Everything is viewed through the mirror and the lens of LeBron, right? Because he's done so many things to try to mirror LeBron. It's like people were so mad at LeBron for the exact same thing that they thought was going to happen, only it didn't. Right? Like the Heat teams were not a juggernaut. Every single thing they got, they had to scratch and claw and barely got it done and delivered drama. It's just people were mad for the same reason twice. It's just they happen to be wrong about what the Heat would do and completely and utterly right, nailed it about Golden State. Like it's true. The games were not fun. They were not competitive. They were way better than everybody else.
I don't know. I had fun.
I will not acknowledge that. I tuned you out. Don't even know what you talked about. Count 1, 2, 3, 4. Steph just needs 2 more. Hey, look. Listen, I know we're getting ready here to hit the wall, but look, man, if it isn't the Warriors this season, I have a quick rant. Just the Denver Nuggets, and I think Nikola Jokic deserve more from the players. They deserve more from I think everyone. It's just him getting picked last was stupid. It was petty. The All-Star game was terrible. The players don't give a shit. They look like they're just that
was embarrassing.
They're like you have rich friends. We all have super rich friends. You know how they like sometimes say something where they're like in a bubble and you're just like, you're removed. Like you're removed from real life. Like the NBA players are removed from real life. They don't understand fans. They don't care. The owners, definitely, they've always been removed, right? And so I just think I would like to see the Denver Nuggets win the championship. I would like to see the All-Star weekend be a lot more fun. That's what I've got. I know you were there. So
yeah, I know I was there. I left at halftime. I said, I'm done eating chicken fingers. And because by the way, you know, this is just a media rant, but there was no catering for the media at All-Star in the Delta Center. No catering. They gave you a voucher and was like, yeah, have fun with what our concessions are. Hot dogs, chicken fingers, terrible pizza. And so I was like, you know what? Why don't I go back to my room, order some real food? Got some drunken noodles, by the way, with shrimp. Level 4 spicy.
Yeah, don't order the pizza in Salt Lake, as we all know.
Yeah, was lit. Was surprisingly super lit.
Wow.
Be in my bed, watch the game from my bed, and as I'm watching this, I'm like, yo, this is when I knew something had gone awry. Andy, Luka Doncic blowing by people. That's not a thing. Luka Doncic doesn't blow by people off the dribble for layups wide open. Like he's not Ja Morant. He's not D Rose MVP year. He's Luka fucking Doncic, and he's taking 2 dribbles straight to the rim for a weak ass layup. Okay, and I'm like, this is the product y'all want to deliver.
Yeah.
And I want to shout out to my man Amin because he said this on Levitar today. He's like, yo, guess what? All this dumb shit Shay talking about people got to get paid. All that dumb shit, like the optics are just horrible for that for a guy who's making $40 million a year. Wearing a fur coat, and you're black on top of that. Oh my God, terrible optics. But
Black History Month too, by the way.
Terrible optics. But here's the thing, and Amin made a beautiful point about getting paid and this and this and that. Y'all hoop. Whenever y'all subject us to them bum ass off-season scrimmages. Bum ass scrimmages at UCLA, bunch of bum ass people that ain't even gonna be in the NBA. These dudes going hard, breaking a sweat. Okay, they're treating it like, yo, I hoop. I'm here to hoop. I'm competitive. I'm going hard. could easily do that at the All-Star game. There's nothing stopping them from playing real basketball. And, you know, to the point of don't want to get hurt, this and that's an exhibition, shorten the game. Make the game 30 minutes. We don't need a full 48 minutes of NBA All-Star basketball. Shorten the game, but like play ball, bro. Play ball. That was embarrassing. I'm sorry.
The pickup thing is literally the best counter to it because I get the idea. It's like no one's got hurt in an All-Star game, but it's like you don't play pickup like that. Like everyone knows you can play without like taking a charge. Like we'll all understand. Like you didn't make the extra rotation because you got beat off the dribble, but like at
You've
least
seen the Rico Highs runs.
Yeah, exactly.
You watch YouTube.
Bruh, it's just an absurdity. I don't understand why they think that's acceptable. And you know, and part of it, to be honest, man, most of these guys have never experienced any tension with ownership.
Yes.
They've never experienced labor strife. They don't know what that shit is like. They never had their money threatened because remember, after the lockout from 2011, they signed that deal. They didn't even bother with a negotiation. They were just like, yo, we're fine. Let's just run this back. So the last time there was a real knock 'em out, drag 'em out negotiation over the collective bargaining agreement was 2011. Okay. And so a lot of these guys don't know what labor strife is. A lot of these guys don't know the idea that maybe because like these dudes can't even fathom this. Like KG signed his deal to get 6 years, $126 million, which is $21 million a year. They locked the players out. Right after that, the max contract for a dude of KG's age when he signed it would have been for 13 to 12.
Yeah.
Do people do you not understand that? We went from the CBA they signed into that TV deal in 2011.
Initial, I mean, it's not even that far back. LeBron's initial deal with the Heat was 14 or 15 a year, and that's for
14.6.
Two-time MVP and clearly the best player in the league, making like a shade above what's going to be the mid-level exception.
Hold on, but Andy, listen, they signed that deal in 2011. They got a new TV deal, and so the BRI went up so crazily. So these guys blinked, and the money that they played for just went up exponentially. So I think I don't know the extent to which these guys appreciate that money doesn't have to be there. It doesn't have to be there for you in the way that it is right now. That's not guaranteed, right? And so that money was earned off of a league that got built by people that came before you doing this work that you guys think is a joke, okay? And dude, like, I don't think they understand. Like, this money didn't just appear. Players had to do shit, had to sacrifice, right, to build a product, to build equity with people.
No, it's exactly that. I mean, we all sound like our parents now.
I was just gonna say, Wos sounds like an
no
immigrant parent that's telling you.
I have no problem with that.
I came to this country, and this is
I have no problem with that. I just think these guys need to understand that this money is not guaranteed to exist for you. Well, the guys that already signed their deals, yes, it's true. But like, do you really want to be the group of people that tank the league?
I got my money. Everyone else is back making 50%. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not unfathomable that we could go back to an NBA where these TV contracts ain't what they wanted, what's supposed to be, because these fucking kids, all they want to do is TikTok with each other and freaking watch people do dumb shit on YouTube all day.
Holy
don't want these kids are scared of playing sports, Andy. They scared. They don't want the comp. These kids are scared. They don't want competition.
It's facts. It's facts.
They don't want to look a man in his eye and tell him I'm gonna beat you today on the hardwood. Lace them up. They don't want to do that. The only people that still want to do it is people playing football down south. Yeah. But no, what I'm saying is this money doesn't always have to be going up, and it doesn't have to be as high as it is. They might wake up one day with these contracts. Bally Sports just went bankrupt. Huh? You know how many local broadcast deals these guys owned?
18.
Okay?
Yeah, just put it in perspective.
Quick.
They just went bankrupt. That's a major
my
chunk
work.
of the BRI. Okay? Obviously, it's not the same as national media. What I'm saying is there might be a day where the NBA isn't a league that's making, call it $10 billion a year anymore. They might one day go back to making 4.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is going to be because of shit like on Sunday. Because they stopped making new fans. They started turning off the people that are fans. And this shit just became way less popular.
It's my favorite sport, and I can't believe we have to end the show this way. Well,
I'm just saying,
I'm
man.
mad
just
now.
saying.
You got me.
I'm
mad.
hyped for the playoffs, though. I'm looking forward to the playoffs. I
So
want to see what the Suns do. I think the Warriors are going to surprise people, including you two guys who think they're dead. I think
I'm just saying. I think they're going to be the 7 or 8 seed, and
By the way, MT got on this show last season at the end and got mad at me because I thought they'd lose, and he called me a dumbass. He called me a dumbass on our
and
own
he
show.
was right.
And he was right. So, whatever. I'm happy to be wrong again. You know what I mean?
And so I'm excited for the Western Conference playoffs. I think the East is going to be fun because I think Philly's going to implode. I think ultimately Boston and Milwaukee is going to be a great series again. And so, yeah, I'm excited about the playoffs. It's just some of the shit that these dudes do. I'm sorry, man. As a 36-year-old washed up, person, I look at it. I'm just like, you kids just don't get it.
yeah. We got Alan in the chat saying shout out to Ethan. We'll leave it.
Shouts to Ethan for sure.
That's our guy.
It's my brother.
Oh,
Shouts to Ethan.
I want to know what he's doing. All right, Wos.
We'll
I
end it there.
appreciate you. We'll see you in
Appreciate
Boston.
you. Appreciate you as always. No, we'll see you before that. We got.
I love you guys, man. Always love hanging out with you guys. Always fun, man. Talking Warriors, talking NBA hoop with y'all. Obviously, I'm gonna have y'all back on my shit before the season's out. So yeah,
anytime.
All right, fellas.
Let's do it.